I just want to talk about a few codes I experienced with my Ford Ranger. So I have a 1994 Ford Ranger, and when I first got the truck, I had a bunch of engine codes. One of them was code 327, and 327 is EGR feedback signal was low, EVR or PFE. So it was a hard code at the time, and I replaced the EGR, the DPFE sensor is what it is. That's the thing that throws that particular code. So here's the wiring to the sensor. Here's the sensor itself. So it's measuring the pressure inside the exhaust system there through these two hoses. They connect down into the manifold. So yeah, I replaced the DPFE, and the code 327 went away for a little bit, but then it kept popping up again. It would come on when I'd go up on the highway for a while, and it would come on, and then I'd come off the highway, and then the light would go out again. And then pretty soon, later on, I started getting hard codes, and I thought, is it the really, I changed the DPFE sensor, so, what could it be? So, over time, yeah, I had these solid codes, and I started having a problem with the engine started really limping along, like the timing seemed off, and it would kick on and off. It would be like, and then it'd be fine for a while. So I pulled the codes again, and I got 327. I got code 224, failure in ignition coil primary circuit, and code 223, dual plug spout or IDM circuit. So I did some researching, and I sort of took an educated guess, because I didn't think it was a failure in the coil primary circuit, because it was intermittent. It would all of a sudden, the truck would go into sort of a spasm of running really rough, like almost to the point where it would conk out, and then it would all of a sudden kick back in again, and it would just run normal. But it kept getting worse and worse. The frequency at which the problem was happening a lot, so I really needed to take care of it. I took a guess. After looking at everything, and I ended up replacing this piece down here. This is the ignition control module. I read a lot about how it functions. So it's over here. As you can see, it's on the right side of the engine. Here's the master cylinder, and then here's the oil, engine oil, dipstick. So here's the ICM. This is the new ICM. It's been in for a while. So I replaced that. I took the old one out, as you can see here. It's kind of sunny. The Motorcraft one. And it has an arrow for orientation. This is facing up. On the old ICM, you can see there are 4 holes here, but only 3 of them had screws. And when I got the new one, it designated this last hole. It said you need to put a screw in there for grounding. That's probably why the old one, started to die. So there was no hole provided in the manifold here. So I actually had to cut some new threads in this for this bolt right here. So the other ones had threads provided, so I screwed them in. But this one needed to cut a whole new one. So I had to go get a drill a hole, and I got a what do you call it, a tap that I have right here. I actually had to alter the tap because As you can see, I took away some material here because it really needed to go deep into that manifold for it to make good contact. I couldn't, at first I jammed this thing in and I could only get this far. So I needed to go further to cut the threads completely. So yeah, I had to whittle away this tap, and then I could go fully into that, all the way into the manifold, and get enough threads to make a good ground. So yeah, I used that, and then also when you're installing the ICM, the old one has this white paste on the back. It's too sunny here. Here's the white paste. This is called, you can see a residue of it. It's called thermal paste. So you're gonna have to smear. The part didn't come with thermal paste, so I actually had to go to Radio Shack and I bought a whole tube of it, and I smeared it on the back of the new one down there, and then I screwed everything in, plugged it in, and everything was good. All the codes are gone. All the codes, including code 327, which I thought was unrelated. So by changing that, I got rid of 327, 223, and 224. And I really was surprised that all of a sudden, no more code 327. But, if this ignition timing module isn't working right, the truck goes into limp mode, right? And, it's not firing when it's supposed to. For optimal use. So what happens is the pressure's all wrong in the EGR sensor, the DPFE sensor, and so yeah, so it throws a code because everything isn't working the way, it's telling the computer that it's low, and they're all telling each other. These sensors are all telling the computer brain what to do, but if the ICM isn't working, then the timing is not what it's going to be, and then it affects the pressure in the DPFE. So, yeah, it was great. I was like, yoo-hoo! I got rid of those codes, all in one swipe. I didn't have to really tear it too much apart. I didn't do anything with the coils or the spark plugs or anything like that. So, yeah, so those are the codes. 327, 224, and 223. So, maybe that will solve your problem. Alright, good luck.